touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, race fans. This is your first ever Sigma Series ARCA racing at 777 Speedway here today. 33 newcomers to our whole division looking to duke it out here tonight. None of these drivers have won in this series in particular. We do have a driver that has a win in trucks, but a lot of new faces, a lot of newcomers, fresh blood in our Sigma universe of racing. And so on the front row, you've got Casey Klein and Finley Herwig on the front row. Behind them, you've got Skylar Taylor. She's starting alongside Trevor Vaden. Vaden is one of those guys that's won within the truck series already, so looking to possibly light it up here in ARCA. Then you got Steven Oberstadt and Donovan Heist, Kaylee Sheets and Rand Kataz, Jakov Rosovich starting alongside Kovacic, and Alan Chavot and Sly Ojima. James Gunner has won in the trucks as well, so there's another Sigma winner in our midst, alongside Matthew Hubert, Jaden Anderson and Joe Hill, Mark Shelton and Rich Roy, Alex Sanvital and Jonah Burridge, Ham Bergerson and Bailey Parker. Still going to have to learn a lot of these names. William Kinsella Jr. starting alongside Adam Cruz. Matias Nunez and Craig Popkris. Zach Magoon, and that would be the 27 of Evan Snake. Pardon, the name on the windshield is incorrect. Eli the Wolf and Hank Scorpio. Jamison Thole, Chris Mousey, and at the very back of the field, Gustavo. So 100 laps here today. Should be an interesting field of racers racing here tonight. So if those of you are not familiar with the track, this is 7 Speedway from the famous arcade game Daytona USA. And they did a pretty snazzy recreation of the track here in NR2003. So one thing's for certain is we're rolling up to the green flag here. Bunch of newcomers, a lot of excitement and unknown rolling into this first lap of a brand new series. These guys are raring and ready to go as the pace car is off. Green flag waving in the air. Sigma ARCA racing for the first time ever. Skylar Taylor 3 wide with Trevor Vaden on the high side there. Kaylee Sheets in the middle as well. Sheets goes low here. Steven Oberstadt settles into third. And Casey Klein out to the early lead here over Finley Herwig as we complete the first lap of racing action around 7 Speedway. One thing that is going to be particularly interesting about this race here today is these cars are spec'd identically. So it's really going to come down to drivability on who's got the best best driving skills to get the job done here today. And of course, we're going to see a lot of ARCA-esque moments here tonight, I assume. Maybe not. You never know. These guys might actually race really cleanly. Casey Klein still off with the early lead. Trevor Vaden now up to third. As you see the ebb and flow of the lines racing in the top three positions here. So far, everyone racing a lot like veterans here today. No carnage or chaos yet has struck. It's really nice seeing these ARCA cars tearing it up for the first time this year. Revival of sorts, I guess you could say. We did have this ARCA series put together last year, and it kind of fell apart. It was a bit fell to the wayside, so revival, and gonna have 19 races strong this season with a lot of very unique racetracks to host races that you don't often see in trucks, bridge to cup, or even cup. A lot of your short track action, a lot of your grassroots racing. Yeah, for example, after 3-7 Speedway this week, we'll go to Talladega, Pikes Peak. Langley should be an interesting one. Killcare Speedway is also a nice little grassroots track. North Wilkesboro, since it's been on the uptick lately. Rockford, one of the tracks that's actually shut down in real life. We'll be paying homage to that track by hosting it on our ARCA series. And then Bowman Gray in May, towards the end of May, that should be a fun one. Orange County Fairgrounds, which will be a dirt track, our one and only dirt track on the ARCA calendar. Watkins Glen, and then we get kind of into our bigger tracks, our more, the higher end tracks such as Watkins Glen, Las Vegas, Fontana, Evergreen, Daytona, Bristol, Portland, Atlanta, and we'll close out a championship in October at Five Flags Speedway. So far, 10 laps into this race, and Donovan Heist has our fastest lap. Correction, actually, Kaylee Sheets jumps to the fastest. Casey Klein has led all 10 laps so far, but has stout competition right there behind him. Even Trevor Vaden now popping into the picture here. Skylar Taylor, she's right there in the picture. Steven Oberstadt in 5th. So far, not much for passing. It's a pretty established racing line that they've got here. Chase Kovacic in that Me paint scheme, inspired by Talladega Nights. Even though there's not a lot of passing going on, the lead is starting to get tighter here, as you've got 5 cars all within a blanket of each other. I do imagine that strategies might play a part in this if we do go green flag the whole way. Pit stops could shuffle up the running order here. Still no retirements, no wrecks. Pretty chill start to the race here. And as everyone's kind of lined out right now, here we go. Vaden might be under attack here by Taylor. Steven Oberstadt, you can tell that he wants to get by this 29, but just doesn't know where to execute that move. Trevor Vaden in that racing Miku paint scheme. We know LFG Motorsports is very popular amongst the other series of racing, and currently trying to cement themselves as a prime ARCA contender. Looks like starting off on the right foot here today with a third place run early on. This right here with Casey Klein at the front, his very first race in any form of Sigma racing. He started from the front row and has led every lap so far, so proven that he belongs here amongst the stars of the Sigmaverse. Another tidbit of knowledge to these cars: they are all spec. They are all Pontiac GTO. The idea was that we were going to use up old unused bodies, and it just so happened that there were a bunch of Pontiac GTO templates sitting around. So then came the whole evolution, or the inception, I should say, of the ARCA series in Sigma universe. So far at this point, I think we're going to have to be waiting to see which cars start to have degradation, where the passing will start kicking in. See the 80 there of Herwig starting to peak inside of Klein here. Klein continuing to hold the preferred line and keeping it from getting open. But Herwig trying everything he can in second to upset the apple cart here. I think even if we get one driver alongside another, that could create a catalyst for many passes here. Skylar Taylor thinking about Trevor Vaden there. Vaden so ultimately we've got about a 5-car fight at the front of the field. Still a lot of racing to go. 80 laps left in this one. Imagine if these guys could somehow coordinate and work together, they could start drafting and really mixing it up. As soon as that 29 cuts low like that, that's cutting the draft to that 18 car. Only furthering progression from occurring here. Got an accordion effect there. The 80 might have something wrong. Finley Herwig about to get passed on the outside if he ain't careful. Here goes Vaden. An attack on the outside. That Racing Miku number 18 can smell second place, but putting up a fight, keeping that position. A little bit more separation is occurring here, as you can see these two losing track of Casey Klein out front, and then 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th kind of getting bundled together here. I guess you could even throw 9th place, 10th place in there, as Ran Kataz and Donovan Heist staying close within reach of the top 5. And apologies with semi-lag here. I'm doing the best with my computer for what it's got. Turned on some fans to see if that'll help with the performance of the computer. Seems to be slightly better. Finley Herwig gonna have to get a little bit of a push here from that 18 if he wants to catch back up to Casey Cash. One quarter of the way through the race here today. 75 laps remain. Everyone's still out there running, still gathering laps, gathering experience out there in these GTOs. A lot of new paint schemes that we've never seen before. So yeah, James Gunner, a USA Trucks winner in only his 2nd start, got the job done at North Wilkesboro roughly about a month ago now. And looking to establish his name in the Sigmaverse, getting some good laps run here today in the ARCA car. And it seems relevant, those drivers that have, expertise or some form of track time are doing pretty good here. Vaden obviously has had the most success with a pair of truck wins already on the west side. USA Trucks West, he's teamed up with Trevor Walker and creates a little bit of a void, I might say, since LFG Motorsports is interested in hiring him for future endeavors. But Trevor Walker as well, with Trevor Ventures, would like to keep their driver pretty much secured. So there's no telling where Trevor Vaden might land. If he performs well for both teams, that's gonna set up quite the conundrum for the team owners. These guys are catching back up to Klein at the front here. I'm willing to wager that we will see pit stops right around halfway here today. I haven't tested to see exactly when pit stops, but I think they can make it with one pit stop here today, but we could find out that that ain't the case. Gustavo has dropped all the way to the back, hasn't moved much at all from the back. And then you've got Hank Scorpio there in the 69, Matias Nunez, Evan Snake, Jameson Thole, Eli the Wolf, Chris Mousy, Zach Magoon. Magoon himself has looked pretty solid in what truck starts he's made. Ham Bergerson as well, kind of the surprise newcomer in the trucks. Started off with a podium finish at Daytona, so not bad. Still learning here in the ARCA car. 78 there of Jonah Burridge running 24th right there in front of him. Craig Popgris, Mark Shelton, Alex Sanvital, William Kinsella Jr., Bailey Parker, Jaden Anderson, Adam Cruz, Alan Chavot, and here we've got our top 15. B. Roy, which I misspoke earlier, it is not Rich Roy, it's B. Roy. Kind of a driver X situation. He doesn't want the rest of the field knowing his first name, so he simply goes by B. Then you've got Matthew Hubert, James Gunner, Joe Hill, who's also been stout this season in the trucks. Not half bad here tonight with top 15 runs so far. Sly Ojima in the number 01 NOS Energy entry. Now we've got our top 10. Ran Kataz was a fairly last-minute entry into this number 9 when Luke pulled out last minute from the series. So Kataz putting in a solid top 10 so far. Donovan Heist comes on over from IORL, hosted by Tyler Aspinall. Heist has been pretty good when he's put at the wheel of any car, so 9th place, pretty good start here today. Kaylee Sheets putting in a solid run here as well in the one series that she's contesting so far. Chase Kovacic has started some truck races, hasn't had quite the success out of the gates as some of the others have, but still plenty of room to grow and a lot of experience he can gain here tonight. Jakov Rosevich, often known as the evil twin brother to Jack Ross, got called upon by Taden Bergeron to run this number 43 Runza entry. Then you've got Ralph Oberstadt, new to the series as well, has ran a couple truck races. This is one of his truly best rides that he's gotten so far, though. That's a Trevor Ventures, or I believe Void Motorsports, which is also Trevor and Jordan Walker's team, but in ARCA here, so stout entry. Very great equipment there under his feet. Skylar Taylor, she has been kind of hit or miss, but solid top 5 here so far. Good way to start off a season. And that's the run through the field. Is our top 3 still remain unchanged. But they have caught back up to the one of Casey Klein here. Klein truly is stinking up the show here. Finley Herwig, I think, gets a little bit caught off guard here as Vaden trying to close the gap again. There we go. That gap truly is shrinking now for the lead. So this track, peculiar in its layout, I think has a lot of reasoning behind why we don't see a lot of passing here. It's kind of almost like a D-oval, not quite a tri-oval, as the turns, they have to slow way up to make these turns. And there's not a lot of progressive lines being run here. It's almost kind of like a mini Pocono. Fastest lap now belongs to Jonah Burridge, who's within the top 25. That 78, one of Atlee's entries here. Hoping for some strategy calls maybe to go their way, as it's looking like this thing could stay green for the entirety based on how clean everyone's running. We have not been struck by an ARCA. Oh, the 29 of Skylar Taylor peeking on the inside of that 18. This may have been a mistake on the 29's part, as now Steven Oberstadt going to try to pass on the outside. Oberstadt with a solid run, but to no avail. The 29 settles back into place there. And this is the closest our 3 have been at the front of the field in a while. We've seen a couple drivers really attempt to make that pass, and often it ends up halting their progress, even sometimes backtracking for them. So it's almost a catch-20 to try and even attempt to make a pass. It's crazy with what little passing we've actually seen that there's so many cars still running towards the front of the field here. Vaden now flirting with the idea of trying to make the pass, but I think we need to see that 80 car get alongside Casey Klein. 18 should try to cooperate here with the 80 and let the 80 get alongside the one to try and upset the perfect race that's going Casey's way right now. Kind of crazy to think about in baseball. You've got the perfect game. I guess you could consider that to be a perfect game in racing if you lead every lap from the front and not give up any ground. And that was what we didn't need to happen, as I was saying that almost to the T, that the 18 needed to let the 80 try and make the move for the lead. And so Vaden gets shuffled back a little bit there after falling off from an aggressive move there. Here comes Herwig. Herwig closing that gap significantly here, as he might have an opportunity to make that pass. Great racing action at the front of the field. We've seen some exciting close quarters combat so far. Just not a lot of passing. Here we go, Herwig. He's thinking about it. And you might even have to be willing to put a bumper on the leader to rattle his bones a little bit. Jakov is running in the top 10, so running 6th. So we're past halfway now, and I assume that green flag pit stops are going to have to happen here. Almost certain that we'll have at least one pit stop in this race, and that might really definitely shake things up. It'll be interesting to see which drivers perhaps do the undercut to get into pit road first to get back out on fresh tires as quickly as possible. Battle for third heating up here as Trevor Vaden holds off Skylar Taylor and Steven Oberstadt. And I think there might even be a battle brewing. Oh, here comes Oberstadt with a bold move, and I think he's going to have an opportunity here to actually pull it off. No, not quite. Man, it's a tough track to pass on. When it looks like you've got the move made, they just blow by on your outside. Also, in case anyone's wondering, these are on a Gen 6 template, or a Gen 6 model. So, truly kind of a throwback, and kind of falls in line with what you would expect from an ARCA League race, where they're using a generation, couple years older generation of car for the racing. These cars have proven to be pretty safe. I don't think were any registered fatalities in Gen 6 car. As we've seen more recently, the next gen cars have been prone to concussion, but they've still managed to fix on the safety of those cars. But these would have been about the sweet spot as far as safety concerns go. These cars, I think, had a lot of things added to them, just like our current, model of cars have had things added to them to increase safety. Here we go, first round of pit stops. Finley Herwig on that undercut, trying to pit first here. This could be a big Chad move for the 80 team, as well as the 29 of Skylar Taylor, as everyone else continues to stay out. Looks like we had about 2 takers down pit road. That's it. 3. Uh-oh, Herwig had a pit stop accident there. It looked like his car beamed in and out, so it must have hit the pit stall incorrectly. That's a bummer. So there's a pit stop glitch here in this track. Let's see if the others. Burridge had a problem on pit road as well. And the rest of the pit stops going down right here. We'll just call that an ARCA situation, an ARCA pit stop moment. As long as, yeah, the 18 might, oh wait, we reached live. Yep, the 18 got caught by the pit road bug. Well, this is the one pit stop that everyone needed to make. And looks like we might lose a good chunk of them down a lap or so. Skylar Taylor. We'll have to see if she earns the lead here. So that's your ARCA moment of the day, a pit road glitch. And easily half the field's going to go a lap down. Oh, even Casey Klein having a pit road problem. He even changed the tires and everything, and double check that. I thought he had changed the tires. Yeah, changed the tires, so maybe there's a mechanical failure with the number 1. So our leader that has led all the laps up to this point is going to get trapped some laps down here. And there is the shakeup here tonight. Skylar Taylor, your new leader. She comes from running about 5th to inherit this lead on the misfortunes of others. Up to 2nd is Jakov Rosevich. 3rd place, to be determined. Adam Cruz running in 3rd place. And this really starts to open up the door of potential cautions and wrecks if you got people with varying tires and different speeds and whatnot. Rand Kataz fighting for 3rd here alongside Adam Cruz. So these two 3rd and 4th. Kataz is going to get the job done here and take 3rd away from Cruz. Running in 5th is B-Roy. Casey Klein, couple laps down. William Kinsella Jr. 6th. Craig Popgris 7th. Chris Mousy 8th. Jameson Thole 9th. Zach Magoon 10th. Eli the Wolf 11th. And Gustavo from the very, very back of the field has now worked himself into a top 12 position. '13th is Evan Snake. 14th, Hank Scorpio. And yeah, so that's our ARCA shenanigans here, obviously. Skylar Taylor, she leads the way with 45 laps to go, or rather 35 laps, I mean. So this track unfortunately has that pit road glitch that we've seen rear its ugly head at us in like the one airport track in Cleveland where we hosted the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame race, and also raises slightly a concern for future races here at this racetrack unless I was able to delve into it and fix those gremlins. Kind of a shame that all the hype and anticipation and yet again not being able to test the track has caused a slight ripple here. Jakov Rosevich still running in second here. Third place ran Kataz. And so I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to play track official, and we'll go ahead and throw a yellow and try to get some of this sorted actually. And that way, perhaps if we put in enough time here, we can get one good restart and see if the likes of Casey Klein or Trevor Vaden can work their way through the field. This is extremely just spur of the moment, that based on current situation, want to promote a more exciting race here tonight. So no one should have any reason to pit here, so I can probably start waving drivers right now. Would be nice if we could just red flag the field and do all this without having to do so much of this, but this is definitely gonna be a little harder than I think anticipated, as it doesn't seem like everyone's wanting to cooperate. All the AI. There we go. Now they're gonna wave. The 80 goes by, the 1 goes by. Pace lap plus. So now this will be the fun part, is figuring out how to get the guys that were 3 laps down back to only 1 lap down. And we might not even be able to do that with the time allotted here, unless I was able to add laps. So at least they are consistent when they make their maneuver here. They wait till the front stretch to wave around. So the problem here right now is the 18 does not seem to have any opening to get waved around here, as the inside line is established and is keeping him from actually waving around here. So I might have to do... There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. Wow, look at that. How much easier it is for the whole wave around to function. Holy cow. Okay, so we're running out of laps here. And I really appreciate everyone hanging in tough here. So that's the massive wave around line. It's actually a race in its own, giving everyone an opportunity to just cruise back around on one lap down now. Okay, so now we need to do it one more time with the likes. And I'm just going to try to get down to like 26th. 80. Wave number 1. Wave number 66. Number 25. Wave number 8. Number 78. Wave number 13. Wave number 18. Wave number 16. So actually Pace Plus makes it add a lap to the pace lap so that we can get more of this sorted. So these guys are all back on the lead lap. Yeah, 78. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let them sort themselves out, and then we'll get the reset going. With Skylar Taylor leading over Jakov Rosevich, Rand Kataz, Zach Magoon, Eli the Wolf, RF Gustavo. I might be able to do one more pace lap and even wave around number 8 one more time. Wave number 78. Wave number 13. Wave number 18. Wave number 16. Wave number 62. Wave number 21. Wave number 01. There we go. Okay, so I think we're going to have about 30 cars on the lead lap for the restart here. Pace light should stay on one more lap. So in case any of you just turned in and don't know what's going on, we encountered the pit road glitch here at the track, and that forced many drivers to go 1, 2, or 3 laps down. An executive decision was made. I figured I would throw the caution and give the wave around to get as many cars back on the lead lap here today. And so what we will have is a 27 car lead lap restart on about lap 83. Pace lights should be going off here soon. Gave a wave around to the 8 car a few too many times, I think, as he flew around the field and inherited the lead by accident. Go ahead and give the EOL to the number 8 so that we get that all sorted out here. So, if anything, the ARCA series has already proven to be unusual start the season here so far. And we now have our top 3 changed up a little bit here, as Jaden Anderson leads over Hamburgerson, Matias Nunez, Trevor Vaden, and Jonah Burridge. Sly Ojima's lap down. Oberstadt still a lap down. But Skylar Taylor in 6th. She now has to hunt down these guys at the front of the field. And let's fix what we created here once more. Okay, so accidentally the whole field was put a lap down when the 8 got a couple too many wave rounds. And so we had to unfortunately DQ the number 8 there. And we'll get a restart rolling with the new leader, which will be Hamburgerson over Trevor Vaden, Matias Nunez, Jonah Burridge, Ran Kataz, Eli the Wolf, Gustavo, Snake, Scorpio, Parker, and the likes, as you see throughout the field here. We've been struck with quite the shenanigans here today. Skylar Taylor had to come down pit road, and unfortunately looks like her day might be done. So now LFG Motorsports takes 1-2 here with 13 laps to go. Trevor Vaden was up at the front of the field here earlier today with one of the stronger cars, fighting Casey Klein and the 80 of Finley Herwig earlier. Now you've got Jonah Burridge up into the top 3, settling in right behind second place Hamburgerson. Trevor Vaden out front right now. All he's got to do is secure these closing 10 laps at the front of the field. It's truly been a tough day for everyone involved in this ARCA series. One point, the half the race led by Casey Klein. He's mired deep in the field here in 18th, but making some passes, it seems. He's got one of the faster cars here today, but got trapped on pit road, fell multiple laps down, and all he's got to do is try to fight back for all the positions he lost in the closing, now 8 laps to go here. Fastest lap actually just got knocked out by Casey Klein. He's having to experiment with different lines on track that he hasn't had to mess around with here today. Now up to 17th. Don't know if it's going to be enough for him to get the job done here, as he's 5.5 seconds back. We'll keep an eye on that ticker to see just how many laps or how much time he can make up in these closing laps. 5.48. And Casey actually dropped some time to a 5.63 there. So let's bounce to the front of the field and see how the rest of the folks are doing here. Bergerson closing the gap on Trevor Vaden. If we have a surprise winner here, it could be Bergerson. He's driving that 13 for LM Novalis, otherwise Aunt Me Person. Chavot, unfortunately, is 32nd, couple laps down. 32nd, 4 laps down. We'll just chalk it up as one of those unfortunate ARCA mishaps here today. Hashtag justice for Jaden. I feel bad for Jaden because he got unfortunately crunched to the front of the field when wave rounds went awry. He'll be able to maybe redeem himself in the next race at Talladega. He was unfortunately caught in the crossfire of mismanagement from track officials. Trevor Vaden still holding off Hamburgerson. It's really a 2-car fight in the closing laps here. Casey Klein hasn't been able to make up many more spots. He's still sitting in 17th, so he's going to have a midfield finish here today. Trevor Vaden had a strong car at the beginning and proven that he still has a strong car at the end. Now it's going to come down to these two doing their best to put on a racing clinic here around 3-7 Speedway. It'll be 3 laps to go at the line here. Hamburgerson's already been runner-up earlier this season, had a top 3 finish at Daytona, and hoping he can get that notch up on the ladder perhaps. He's waiting for that 18 to make even the slightest bit of a mistake here so he can pounce. Very, very few laps left. Racing Miku putting on a clinic in the closing laps here, keeping that 13 Bunnings GTO behind her. Trevor Vaden is trying really hard to open a gap here. Stretching it out in the closing 2 laps around 3-7 Speedway. That 18 was fierce all day. Vaden looking to notch another win in his belt. White flag waving. This will be the last lap of the race. Trevor Vaden roaring across the front stretch for the last time here today. Hamburgerson solidly in second. Might come up just short here tonight. Here comes Hamburgerson with one last galleon effort. Going through the last segment of turns here. Vaden has no worries, though, as he's going to catch that checkered flag here today, giving LFG Motorsports their first ever ARCA win in competition racing. Solid day for Hamburgerson to turn it around and get a second. Third for Jonah Burridge. Fourth for Matias Nunez. Fifth for Zach Magoon. Sixth for Rand Kataz. Bailey Parker with the seventh. Eli the Wolf, 8th. Evan Snake, 9th. Adam Cruz, 10th. Hank Scorpio, Gustavo Sanvital. Finley Herwig, unfortunately, gets back to 14th. Joe Hill, B. Roy, Casey Klein, Jamison Thole, Donovan Heist, Craig Popchris with the top 20, Sheets with the 21st, Alan Chavot gets up to 31st. And yeah, the track just proved to be too hard to make passes on here today, as it was really wherever you ended up in track position got you the spot to be. Ultimately, congratulations to Trevor Vaden. That's his third win in the month of March. Both his other wins came for Trevor Ventures in the USA Trucks West. So now, starting his accolades here on the ARCA side. And I don't even have a point standing set up for this ARCA series yet, so that's something I'm going to have to devise after the fact, after the first race actually. So stay tuned on what points payouts are going to look like here in ARCA. I don't imagine it's going to be too drastically different. And also payout of points, payout of earnings might be necessary information to know too. So first race of 18, LFG Motorsports put in a strong run here tonight, and in the next race will be at Talladega, which will be even more of a wild card than this one was. So unfortunately, this track, with a little bit of prior testing, we would have been able to figure that out, that the pit roads got glitches. Honestly, though, I thought I tested it and found out that that didn't happen, so there might have something to do with the actual ratings of the vehicles, but I doubt it. It was probably just the test I ran. I probably need to run more than one test in the future, so. So thanks for everyone tuning in. It was definitely March Madness on our end here. ARCA, true ARCA style.
Greg, did you have any ignition problems?
The Miku cars in victory lane in the inaugural Sigma ARCA series. So that is a wrap for tonight. We will get on to Bridge to Cup action tomorrow night, and definitely y'all don't want to miss out on the IROC series come Friday. Be hosted by our buddy Brian DeBlank on his YouTube channel. We'll have I'll be watching on the sides, so we'll all be tuning in to see the IROC series on Friday. Hopefully you can all tune in tomorrow night for Bridge to Cup action, and I'm excited myself to tune in Friday night for the IROC action, which will include 16 drivers based on points from the 2023 season. So it'll be a true IROC championship, just like real life IROC, where you've got champions from USA Trucks, Bridge to Cup, and even Cup standouts racing for an IROC championship to be crowned as the international racing champion across all 3 series. And now 4 series if you think about it, with ARCA involved. So hopefully all have a good night. Thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate the support. And congratulations yet again to Trevor Vaden on getting the job done here tonight. We'll see next week how he fares at Talladega. So that is the end. This is Jay.